The controversial ArriveCAN app has been thrust into the spotlight and caught our attention.
All right. CWA, 3 simple letters, but what stands behind them is not simple at all. For various reasons, the ArriveCAN app has been one of the most talked about digital projects of the year. Behind its rather simplistic facade, there are many considerations that went into the app's design to protect its users and their data. While they might not be visible for most users, these goals had a direct influence on the software architecture. For instance, the risk calculation. Here today, to talk about some of these backend elements, is one of the solution architects of the ArriveCAN app, Thomas Klingbeil. And I'm probably not the only one here at RC3 who's an active user, and I'm pretty curious to hear more about what's going on behind the scenes of the app. So without further ado, let's give a warm virtual welcome to Thomas Klingbeil. Thomas, the stream is yours.
Welcome to ProFresh. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're enjoying this video or finding it helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could take a moment to click the like and subscribe buttons. Your support means a lot and it helps the growth of our channel.
Hello everybody, I'm Thomas Klingbeil, and today in the session I would like to talk about the German ArriveCAN app and give you a little tour behind the scenes of the app development, the underlying technologies, and which things are invisible to the end user but still very important for the app itself. First, I would like to give you a short introduction to the app, the underlying architecture and the used technologies, for example, the exposure notification framework. Then I would like to have a look on the communication between the app and the backend, and looking at which possible privacy threats could be found there and how we mitigated them, of course. And then
Okay, so thank you, Thomas. This was a pre-recorded talk, and the discussion was very lively in the IRC during the talk, and I'm glad that Thomas will be here for the Q&A. Maybe to start. Okay, and then there was another one on international interoperability. Is it EU only, or is there also cooperation between EU and, for example, Switzerland?
So far we've got the cooperation with other EU countries. There's from the European Union, which app interoperates already. And regarding the integration of non-EU countries, that's basically a political decision which has to be made from this place as well then. So that's nothing I, as an architect, can drive or control. So far it's only EU countries.
All right, and then they have some comments and also questions on community interaction and implementation of new features, which seems a little slow for some. There was, for example, a proposal for a functionality called Crowd Notifier for events and restaurants to check in by scanning a QR code. Can you tell us a bit more about this, or are you aware of this?
So I personally have seen that there are proposals online and that there's also a lively discussion on those issues. But what you need to keep in mind is that we are also, we have the task of developing this app for the Federal Ministry of Health, and they're basically the ones requesting features. And then there's some scoping going on. So I'm personally sorry to say that again, I'm the architect, so I can't decide which feature is going to be implemented. It's just as soon as the decision has been made that we need a new feature. So after we've been given the task, then I come in and prepare the architecture for that. So I'm not aware of the current state of those developments, to be honest, because that's out of my personal scope.
Yeah, that's great to know, actually. So people have some answers on that. Maybe one last very concrete question by Duffman in the IRC. Is the an inability of the app to show the time day of exposures a limitation of the framework, or is it an implementation choice? And what would be the privacy implications of introducing such a feature? Actually a big question, but maybe you can cut it short.
Yeah. Okay, so the only information the exposure notification framework by Google Apple can give us is the date of the exposure, and date always relates to UTC day. And so we never get the time of the actual exposure back. And when moving to the exposure windows, we also do not get the time back of the exposure window. And the implications, if you were able to tell the exact time of the encounter, would be that people are often aware where they've been at a certain time. And let's say at 11:15, you were meeting with a friend, and you get the notification that at 11:15 you had that exact encounter. It would be easy to tell whom you've met, who's been infected, and that's something not desired, that you can trace it back to a certain person. So repersonification would basically then be the thing.
All right, and I hope we have time for this last question. Tish asks in IRC, have you considered training a machine learning method to classify the risk levels instead of the used rule-based method?
So, I mean, classifying the risk levels through machine learning is something I'm not aware of yet. So the thing is, it's all based on basically a cooperation with the Fraunhofer Institute, where they have basically reenacted certain situations, did some measurements, and that's what has been transferred into the risk model. So all those thresholds are derived from basically practical tests. So no ML at the moment.
All right, so I suppose this was our last question. And again, Thomas, a warm round of virtual applause to you. And thank you again for Thomas for giving this talk, for being part of this first remote case experience, and for giving us some insight into the back end of the Corona One app. Thank you.
I was happy to do so. Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts, questions, or feedback about the video, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section below. Your comments help me understand what you enjoy and what you'd like to see more of in future videos. I read and respond to as many comments as I can, so don't hesitate to share your thoughts. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you. Sponsored by TaxAce, accounting you can count on. At taxace.ca. Following the money trails is not only essential for uncovering financial irregularities and illicit activities, but also crucial for understanding the intricate networks that drive economic transactions and influence decisions at all levels of society.